Hey, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to another video. This is a paid request, this time from MegaPorkChopExpress. Thank you so much for that. For those interested in requesting any type of videos, topics, reactions, commentaries, reviews, re-reviews, what have you, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal or through my Patreon. Both links are down below in the info box. Also, sorry if I start sounding like Elmer Fudd, because this is be a series of videos that I record today, but I got a little cut on my tongue, so that's a bit annoying, but it is what it is. So this is a film called Fall from this year, 2022. Now, I vaguely heard about it, but I didn't know really anything on the film. And then when I looked it up, I'm like, oh, I got very curious. I got very intrigued. Because number one is directed by Scott Mann. Now, Scott Mann is a director you may not know, but he's directed a series of films I do enjoy. He did The Tournament, which had, I believe, Ving Rhames, and see, I'm so bad with names, so he may not be in it, but I remember that being a pretty good action film, pretty underrated movie, The Tournament. Whereas, like, people... It's been forever since I've seen that. I do want to rewatch that again. But yeah, The Tournament, I want to say from 2009, give or take, somewhere around that. And then Scott Mann also did Heist, also known as Bus 651, I believe. It had Jeffrey D. Morgan, Dave Bautista, Gina Carano, Robert De Niro. You have Mark Paul Gosselaar, Zach from Saved by the Bell. That was a pretty decent direct-to-video movie that sadly didn't get a lot of traction, but I thought Jeffrey D. Morgan did a really good job. As Scott Mann is a decent enough director to handle the subject material. And then he also did one of Dave Bautista's better movies, Final Score, which is Die Hard at a soccer game. Which, I mean, you'd call football, but in the U.S. we call it soccer. But yeah, Dave Bautista got to star in that. Like I said, it's one of his better movies. So, Final Score, Heist, The Tournament, pretty decent track record. So I'm like, oh, he's directing this. And then also this is the gimmick, one of those survival stories. I have to be a sucker for that as well. Doesn't mean I like every single one, but I enjoy 127 Hours with James Franco. I enjoyed this Adam Green film called Frozen, where it's a group of people stuck on a ski lift, and they have to figure out how to survive. Of course, this is also from the producers of 47 Meters Down, and I wasn't really a fan of that movie, and in a way that's what this is. It's just the opposite direction. Instead of people stuck on the bottom, here it's people stuck way up top. And there's even a certain twist. Well, I'll get to that. I've said too much. Although, to be honest, I thought it was better done here than in 47 Meters Down, but I'll get to that. The movie, it starts off with these three climbing this mountain, and one thing leads to another, and there's a terrible accident where one of them dies. So it's 51 weeks later. It is just to make you that difference. Instead of a whole year, 51 weeks. Lead lady, she's an alcoholic. Her dad is actually played by Jeffrey D. Morgan. Sadly, he's not in the film much. He's in maybe 3 or so scenes. He doesn't have much to do. But I guess, you know, he worked with the director on Heist. Worked with him again. I wish Jeffrey D. Morgan had a lot more to do in the film, because I do think he's a good actor. From Watchmen and Heist and other movies, I do like Jeffrey D. Morgan. But our lead lady and her friend, I thought the two actresses did a decent enough job in the performances. The dialogue can be sketchy. I mean, there's a point where the two are talking and one says to the other, oh, you remember what your boyfriend used to say? Something about, you know, don't die if you want to live, or what the fuck does that mean? Don't die if you want to live. No shit. Like, so sometimes the dialogue can be wonky like that. So as it goes along, the friend gets the idea to the lady, there's this TV tower, and we should climb it. And the lead's like, nah, I don't want to do that. No, come on now, man. We gotta do it. You gotta live a little. Pretty much you gotta get over what happened pretty much a year before. The best way I would put this film is that I do think the film works on a visceral level, but not on a logical level. And that's why I'm pretty conflicted, where I did not love the film, I did not hate the film, I'm kind of in the middle. I know there are people that hate Gravity with Sandra Bullock. I like that much, much better. I love that film. Saw it twice in the theaters. 127 Hours did this much better. No matter how you feel about James Franco, I still think that film did this type of thing much better. Frozen. You want to talk about people trapped up high and they need to survive? That's one of Adam Green's best films. In fact, I don't like the Hatchet movies, but Adam Green away from Hatchet, like I liked Digging Up the Marrow, I liked Frozen. I think Adam should have done more movies like that instead of Hatchet. That's just me. Those I think are better, Frozen and those other movies over this. But I would say I like this more than 47 Meters Down. So yeah, I don't hate the film because I do think the two leads did a good job. I do think that when you get up high of the TV tower, like I said, you do get a sense of vertigo. You do get a sense of the height and the type of anxiety. They're probably at times even my stomach butterflies. I've just seen just how far the fuck they are from the ground. It's one the dead boy and the spoilers. It's one of those things that while I do like the two characters, there are times and things that they do stuff I go, why? Like number one, don't stream and drive. Her buddy is streaming and driving. They almost hit a damn truck. They're kind of laughing about it. I'm like, you're the reason why people fucking die on the road and you kill them and not you. You're trying to stream while you drive. That's as bad as drinking and driving. You could have gotten someone killed. And then when they look at this TV tower and they can clearly see, number one, it's such a rickety ladder. These are on the point where the lead's climbing up and one of the fucking things breaks. Right then and there I'm going, you know what? Done. I climb back down. I'm gonna wait here. Glad I brought a sack lunch. Or you get down there, I'm gonna sack you. I got sacked, sucker. When you see how illogical they're taking their lives into their own hands, you kind of down to the fact of, man, they are really trying to be the recipients of the Darwin Awards. If you don't know what the Darwin Awards is, look it up. Well, okay, it's being as dumb as possible. Again, these two are big recipients of the Darwin Awards, going like, come on, you two. You see how old and rickety it is? You're first climbing up and one of the damn pieces of the ladder breaks. I mean, if you looked at all a little bit, you see that the damn thing is shaking and rattling. No one knows where you are. You have no reason, you have no way to contact people if, like, hey, if I don't make it back by then, this is where we're at, call the cops. No precautions. They really have to be doing this and this so conveniently to put them in this situation and you go, there's only a select idiotic few that would be in this fucking situation in the first place, and you almost go, is your two dumbasses' fault for being in the first place? Like, Frozen makes sense in the fact of, it's a ski lift, someone put you on the ski lift, someone fucked up, it was their mistake, you feel more bad for the lead characters because it's not their fault. and these poor individuals are stuck on the ski lift. They have to figure out how to escape. 127 hours is a guy who gets his arm stuck, and then you get his backstory and character development. Done much better written compared to this movie. But like I said, it would have been really a pain in the ass to watch the film if it wasn't for, again, the two lead performances. I didn't mind them. Like I said, when they're getting higher and higher, you really do get a sense of the vertigo. You really do get a good sense of how fucking high they are. Not this high, but high. But it takes a while for it to get to the point where they're stuck up there, and then you kind of realize there's not a whole lot you can do once you're stuck up there for the movie. I mean, there's either the point where the friend tries to climb down to get this water and this backpack down there. Well, later on, there's a point where the lead has to go up and do this thing to charge this phone or charge this thing up for the drone to try to fly to get some help. But there's not a whole lot for them to do when they're up there. And then they would also create questions, and forgive me if this is a moot point. They do this thing, and I said spoilers, so beware. Spoilers. They put a message on the phone, and they can't get a message, but they go, well, if we put it in this, like a shoe, and we drop it, I could tell you that that's not going to fucking work. That shoe's not going to cushion it, but they try it anyway. But they go, well, we sent the message, and it didn't go through, but once it get connected, then it goes through. Does that work? Would that work? Or is it one of those things where message not sent, would you like to try again? Wouldn't that thing pop up? Or no? I don't know. Just never really tried it. So again, it might be a moot point because I'm not good with technology. If you try to send a message and there's no signal, if you leave it, will it just automatically send it when you do get a signal? Or wouldn't you have to click on something to try to send again? Because I thought it was like, sorry, it didn't go through. Would you like to send again or try again? Maybe that's just me. Maybe I'm wrong. Could be wrong. And then I'll get to this. Like I said, there's a point where the friend has to go down and try to get this water and gets it to this rope that they have. Oh yeah, before that, they had to put this in there. There's a bit of a thing where the two... Sorry, I'm floundering because I'm sitting there just kind of gobsmacked that they try to put this in there. You find out that the friend slept with the lead girl's boyfriend. Because the boyfriend was the guy who died at the beginning of the film. And our lead has been very sad about it for this past year. Apparently, her best friend, who's along with this ride, slept with the guy. Now, thankfully, they didn't go on 5-10 minutes bitching about this. They bring it up, and one apologizes to the other, and the other's silent, and then they kind of go from there. I'm glad they at least did that, because we got more serious shit to do. Like, worry about this later. And they kind of do that. So I at least appreciate that. Because it could have been just 20 minutes of them bitching, and one tries to kill the other. Thankfully, they don't do that. Believe me, there's some films that would and have done that. So thankfully, at least they don't do that. But I'm just like, you didn't even need this, really. You really did not need this shit in there. It doesn't really serve much of a purpose. Like, if you cut it out, it wouldn't really affect much of a dire circumstance of the story. At least that's my take on it. So the friend's climbing up. She falls back down to something breaks, grabs it, climbs back up again. They talk. They try to do this thing with the drone. The drone crashes into this fucking truck. They don't know what to do next. And then you get to a twist, kind of like 47 meters down, where for this chunk of time in the third act of the movie, the lead girl thinks she's been talking to her friend, but in reality, her friend's been dead for a chunk of time. When she got the water to the girl and then she fell, she didn't catch something, she actually fell and bled to death. So the whole thing with the drone and stuff, the friend was dead, and the lead girl imagined it. Much like in spoiler alert for 47 meters down, what was it? Mandy Moore was pinned, and then you think the other is killed by a shark, but then she doesn't. They're saved, and all this other stuff happens. But then you find out she's really been pinned the whole time, and then they save her, and they have to tell her that the other died and was eaten by a shark. And I think it's Mandy Moore, and then she cries, but she's saved. The reason I could deal with this more is because at least the lead did something and got herself out of the situation. I could be wrong, but from a vague memory of 47 meters down, she was pinned, and because of the whole thing, she was hallucinating, and then someone had to save her and pull her out. Here, at least, the lead girl was productive. At least she had to take matters into her own hand. At least, yeah, she imagined the person, but she was actually doing certain things with the drone, and she is able to get herself out of the situation. How she does it, the same thing they tried to do, but with the phone, but the lead has to go down to her buddy, put the phone inside her body, toss her off. I guess not only the phone doesn't break from that, but even when it's inside the damn body, it's able to send a signal. And then they cut to, boom, she's on the ground, the lead, and there's Jeffrey Dean Morgan and the authorities. So no, they don't show how they get the girl down, which I think that would have been... They could have built that up. Suspense of, did it work, did it not work? You get more of just her alone, and more of the height anxiety, and then she sees something in the distance. Am I hallucinating it? Am I not hallucinating it? Someone's coming. Is it her dad? Or is her dad with the authorities? We get a helicopter. No. So, I know it sounds like I dislike it more than like it. I would say I'm more disappointed than like it. I would never see this film again. It didn't make me angry. It didn't make me rage out because I wasn't too bored with the film. The two leads did fine. It's always nice to see Jeffrey Dean Morgan in there, even though it's a bit part. There's some nice visceral moments. The general idea on paper seems fine. Like, if you're this high, what can you do? But then how you get up there, how it leads up to there, it could be a big pill to swallow for a lot of people. I don't blame you. Yeah. So yeah, I would say of the films I mentioned with Scott Mann, this is my least favorite. And I definitely think the Tournament Heist and Final Score was much better. And maybe that's the thing. Maybe that's more of his wheelhouse. Like I said, I'm not going to sit here and say this is an awful film. I do think it has its share of problems. But if you're able to overlook the logistics, and just try to enjoy some of the visceral moments, and you're afraid of heights, and you are trying to deal with those fears, maybe this will be a movie for you. I didn't mind the way the film looked. The way they made it seem they looked so high, I didn't think they looked that bad. But yeah, I would never see the film again. And like, if I did a top favorite or top worst, this would not make either one. It just, eh. I don't love it. I don't hate it. Like I said, it's pretty in the middle. Um, so with that said, thanks for watching. We'll see you guys later. Bye bye.